Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ronin's Den. My name is Eric, and as always, I am joined with Steve, and we're going to be looking at another Fabula Ultima character class today, that being the Symbolist. The best kind of comparison I can pull from this for JRPG would be Realm from Final Fantasy VI. Your powers deal with symbols, paintings, markers, things of that nature. The written symbol. I'm trying to make a really cool talking point here of it, but I'm failing miserably. But yeah.
You're kind of like a rune smith or a rune caster where your magic comes from symbols as opposed to like the arcane weave. All in all, personally, my initial thoughts of this it seems very complex, like almost a little too complex, but we'll see when we get digging in a little more.
Yeah. As always, you get some free benefits when you join a class. With the Symbolist, you get the permanent increase of your maximum inventory points by 2. Extra inventory points are always a good thing. I'm a big supporter of extra inventory points. The first skill is the bread and butter of this class. It's magic symbols. Any ally who bears one of your symbols, if any ally bears one of your symbols, that ally may perform the spell action and destroy that symbol to cast a single spell among those that you know, as long as it has a total mind point cost equal to lower than skill level times 10. That ally must still pay the MP cost. So it's any spell that I know, the Symbolist knows, not that the person bearing the symbol knows, is the important thing there.
I mean, I could see situations where this could be helpful if like if you mix this with like Spiritist and you need a healing and you desperately need to do something else, but somebody else could break their symbol to heal. There is benefit to it. It's just kind of situational.
Yeah.
It could be very helpful. It could be very unhelpful. I don't know. I'm a little torn on this one. And this is not the bread and butter. Symbolism at the bottom of this list is the bread and butter.
My bad.
Mirage is the next skill. You gain the ability to perform rituals of the ritualism discipline. Additionally, you may use ritualism to create sight-based illusions. We did a video on rituals. We were wrong where we said we did not see a use for them. We now think they are extremely beneficial and extremely useful. I don't know that there's ever a negative to having the ability to do rituals. They are a lot of fun. They can be very useful. I highly recommend taking this if you take this, just because always take rituals.
And sight-based illusions in the right role player's hand, able to describe things that they want to set up and do with that, can be extremely potent. I think illusions are some of the most underrated things by people because they don't do damage themselves. So people are like, oh, it's not as cool as a fireball. I love illusions in every game that they're present in.
Anybody who has watched season 1 of the Loki TV show, you understand why illusions are very powerful. There's a scene. I'm not going to spoil it for Eric because he hasn't seen it yet, but there is a scene why illusions are powerful.
I got to go back and watch that. All right, next up is Personal Touch. When a creature you can see that is bearing one of your symbols suffers damage or recovers hit points or mind points, you may have that creature suffer skill level extra damage or recover skill level additional hit points or mind points respectively. I mean, this I feel is like a nice thing that you can use to prep up your team members. So, hey, before we get into combat, I'm going to make sure you have symbols. If your symbols last that long, but we're going to put the symbols on you. When you need to heal, we're going to get you more healing. Or if you're using them in an offensive way, you can get a little more damage out. I'd say that this is probably one of the skills I would want to invest in with this class.
I also think it could like pair well with that first one, magic symbols. Like I said, if you have the spiritist spells, somebody uses your spiritist spell to heal, they can also tack this on top of it to kind of give the class a little bit of a synergy, because classes that have synergy tend to work better,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, that's the way I think about it. The next one is symbolic connection. You always know the exact direction in which to find any creature bearing one of your symbols, as long as the creature is within 2 travel days of your position. This is a skill. I mean, I if you're doing kind of like an exploration or like if the campaign that you are doing has this kind of stuff come up a lot where you're tracking something or you're trying to catch up to stuff, like a Pokemon style or a Monster Hunter style, this would be a good ability. But in a political intrigue kind of story, this is not gonna be. This is just a skill. It's there.
Yeah. I agree. And then symbolism. This is the bread and butter. Each time you acquire the skill, you learn 2 symbols. You may have up to skill level +1 symbols active at any time. If you create more while you're at your limit, you must first choose and destroy some of your previous symbols. You may perform the inventory action and spend 2 inventory points to create a symbol that you have learned and choose one option. Apply that symbol on yourself, or apply that symbol on an ally you can see, or perform a free attack with a weapon you have equipped. This attack deals no damage, but you apply a copy of the chosen symbol to each enemy hit with the attack. Each copy counts as a separate symbol towards your limit, or skill level +1 active symbols. If you're taking this class, you need to take this skill. Nothing else works without it.
I also think that this is telling you have to spend 2 inventory points to put your symbols on stuff.
Yes.
You definitely want to be taking classes that give you inventory points, because they are not always easy to get back. And there was one class, what was it, the Tinkerer, that was able to get inventory
Yes.
points back. It might be really good to go with the Tinkerer, because there have been a lot of instances in Capiterra where we're out of inventory points and there's not a settlement near.
Yeah.
So that is a very limited resource depending upon the game that you are playing. Be careful. Be smart with your synergies there. Ultimately, putting it on yourself, putting it out an ally. I think it's weird that you have to attack to put it on an enemy, but I also kind of understand, because you're like painting it on them. I don't know. It's just weird. It's a lot of clunky. The rules for this are clunky, and I don't know that I care for it. But on the next page, we go to symbols, and symbols follow a set of special rules. A creature may only bear 1 symbol at a time. If they receive a new symbol, regardless of the source, any previous symbol is destroyed. Symbols and their effects have unlimited durations until destroyed. That's kind of cool. I mean, once you get it on there, it's on there, so that's always nice. If a symbolist dies, each symbol they created is immediately and automatically destroyed. Kind of makes sense. If a creature bearing a symbol dies, that symbol is also destroyed. However, if the creature is an NPC that simply changes its form and statistics when reduced to 0 hit points, that does not remove the symbol. In short, the symbol is narratively tied to the specific character, not the current manifestation and parameters.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Next
a villain.
Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, a villain may, during a game master scene, spend 1 Ultima point to destroy any number of symbols born by themselves and by any of their allies that are present during that scene. This is the only possible way to remove a symbol against the will of the symbolist who created it. save for an opportunity appropriate to the scene or an NPC skill specifically created by the GM. But this should not be done more than 2 or 3 times per campaign. There's a good avenue to spend those Ultima points. A symbolist may destroy any number of their symbols at any time, no action required. If a symbol requires you to make a choice when it is created, that choice applies to all copies of the symbol created with that action, but does not affect any copies that the symbol created through previous actions. For instance, if a symbolist applies 2 symbols of weakness, fire, through the symbolism skill, combining it with an attack with the multi-2 property, the creatures who receive the symbols will suffer extra damage from fire. If shortly afterwards the symbolist applies symbol of weakness bolt to a third creature, the previous 2 creatures will still receive extra fire damage, just not bolt. Remember that the maximum number of symbols you can have active at the same time is based on your level in symbolism. That is a lot of words.
It's a lot of rules to remember.
Yes. It's pretty easy when you think about it. If you have multi-attack, you're able to hit 2 different creatures. It's going to hit 2. So you can use that and your symbol skill to apply it to 2 creatures. Just make sure you pay attention to how many symbols you have out there based on your skill level in that skill. It's basically what it's saying in a nutshell. And then we got a couple symbols here. The symbol of binding. The current attribute of dice sizes of the creature bearing the symbol can never be higher than the creature's corresponding base attribute die sizes. This does not end after any spells or effects, but it will negate their influence over the creature's attributes.
Kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
They can't get buffed. The next one we can look at is the symbol of elements. When you create this symbol, choose a damage type of air, bolt, dark, earth, fire, ice, light, or poison. When the creature bearing this symbol deals damage to 1 or more creatures, if you can see the creature bearing the symbol, you may spend an amount of mind points equal to 1/3 of the total damage being inflicted to those creatures, including any sources of extra damage. If you do, all damage dealt this way changes type to the type chosen when you created this symbol. That's a lot of words, but essentially you can pick a type. Let's say you know that the creature's vulnerable to fire. You do your symbolism and you make the enemy vulnerable, or you make the enemy symbol of elements. When someone attacks them, you can spend mind points to make the attack fire, dealing double damage. This is just a nice way to buff your allies and be a good support. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of symbols in this class. They all do a lot of different things. I think that this is one of those classes, honestly, that on a quick glance that we're giving it, we're not going to give it the probably the level that other people have had with it. I can see how this can be an insanely powerful class if used correctly. I just can't see how I would do that with this class yet.
Yeah, like you said before we started the video, I like Fabula Ultima for its simplicity. I think it is one of the simpler games with a little bit of added complexity in the character design. This class just seems really complex, and I don't know that I would ever play it. It just doesn't strike me in a way that seems interesting or fun, but it looks good. I think the people that would enjoy this kind of thing will enjoy this. It is not bad. It is not unuseful. It is a good class, just not one that I would care to play.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's just more layers of complication than I want to deal with. I like Fabula's Ultima's simple, straightforward, easy rule system. I don't want to add layers of complexity on it if I don't have to.
Anyway, that was the Symbolist class. That is our breakdown. We have just now finished the High Fantasy Atlas. I believe we are going to go to the Techno Fantasy next, or maybe the Natural Fantasy, but I believe we decided the Techno. As always, we have our 2E Dungeons and Dragons game, Night Below, going every other Monday. We have Welcome to Capiterra going every other Saturday. Yeah, we got a lot coming down the pipe. We can hope that you're enjoying these videos. We have plans to do some more types of videos, just things have been hectic. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to us. I'm Steve. That's Eric. Have a great night.